Welcome to the 8th grade math homework helper series. Tonight's homework is Poly-7, multiplying a binomial by a binomial. To get started, let's talk about how to multiply binomials. Multiplying a binomial by a binomial, you're going to use the distributive property. So if you look at the example a plus b and c plus d, what you'll notice is that the a is going to be multiplied by everything in that second binomial. So it's going to be a times c plus d. Then the b is also going to be multiplied by everything in the second binomial. So it's plus b times c plus d. There are at least two methods that you could use to solve this. The method we're going to be focusing on for this homework is the box method. In order to use the box method, once you realize that you have two terms each, you need to create a box that is a 2 by 2 box. So it has 2 on the top, 2 on the side. Similar in form to the box you might create for a lattice multiplication of two numbers by two numbers. Once you've created the box, you're going to take the first binomial, and you can either put it on the top or you can put it on the side like I did. Either way is okay. And then you're going to take the second binomial and put it wherever you didn't put the first. In this case, I'm putting it on the top. Then you're going to multiply each of these terms, and the answer is going to go in the box connected to where you just multiplied. So for instance, we have c times c. So that's going to give us c to the second power right here. Now I have c times 1. My answer is going to go in this box. C times 1 is c, and I don't need to include the 1 to show that. 6 times c is going to be 6c, and 6 times 1 is going to be 6. Now I should notice that there are two terms within these four that can be combined. And so the c squared, there's nothing like that. So that term is by itself. And the 6, there's nothing else like that. So that term is by itself. But I have a c and I have a 6c. And that will always work out to be diagonally, you're going to have two terms that are like. Okay, depending upon where you put the outer binomials, it could be diagonally this way. If you set it up the way that I do, it'll always be diagonally this way. So these are two terms that can be combined. So we'll start with the largest degree, the c squared. That cannot be combined with anything else, and so that is our first part of our answer. Then the c's by degree would be larger than the 6 with no variable. So we have 6c and 1c, and that's going to give us a positive 7c. And then my 6 can't be combined. I just bring it down. So that's how you use the box method to multiply two binomials. Okay, let's try this out with the homework. So we're going to start by taking a look at question number 7. 7 had x plus 3 times x plus 5. So created my box, took my first binomial and I put it on the left-hand side, took my second and put it on the top. Now let's go ahead and multiply the terms. So we have x times x, and that gets us x to the second power. We have x times 5, which gives us 5x. We have 3 times x, which gives us 3x. And lastly, we have 3 times 5, and that gets us 15. Okay, looking quickly for my diagonally like terms, I can see it lines up right over here. My 5x and my 3x. So those are going to combine. But as I pull them down, I'm going to start with the largest degree, which is x squared. That doesn't combine with anything, so it comes straight down. I have a positive 3x and a positive 5x. That's going to get me a positive 8x. And 15 just comes down. Okay, now we'll take a look at question number 8. 8 has a plus b times a plus 3b. So I've set up my box, took my first binomial, set it up on the left, took my second and put it on the top. Now I'm going to multiply. A times a gets me a squared. A times 3b gives me 3ab. Coming down to the bottom, b times a gets me ab. And b times 3b gives me 3b squared. So, looking for like terms, I can see diagonally I have like terms this way, 3ab and ab. So I'm going to combine them when I'm ready, but first I'm looking at the different terms that I have, and a squared is going to come down first. Then I'm going to combine my AB and my 3AB to get 4AB positive, and my 3B squared is not like any other term, so that's going to come down at the end. Next, we'll take a look at question number 10. So for 10, you have 3D plus 8 times 3D minus 8. Once again, set up my 2x2 box, took the first binomial and set it up on the left, took the second, set it up on the top. I want to point out that I took the negative with this over here. That's important. If it's a positive, you don't need to write it because we just naturally assume that numbers that don't have a sign are positive. But you need to remember that you're multiplying by -8 when you do it over here. So it's a good idea to bring the sign with you. Now I can go ahead and multiply. So I have 3D times 3D, and that gives me 9D squared. I have 3D times -8, and that gives me 3 times 8 is 24, negative because of the -8, so it's -24D. Now coming down to the second part of my binomial, I have an 8 times 3D, which gives me 24D, and I have an 8 times -8, which gives me -64. So, looking for terms that are alike, I have a -24 and a +24, which I recognize do cancel out. So those are gone, and I'm left with a 9D to the second, which is the largest term but can't be combined, and a -64. And lastly, we'll take a look at question number 14. So for number 14, you were asked to simplify each expression, and this is the original expression that you started out with. And based on order of operations, I go to the innermost parentheses first, and as I look inside here, I see what's happening is these two are being multiplied, which is a binomial times a binomial. So before I can work my way out of this, I need to use the box method to solve x plus 2 times x minus 2. So I set up my box, I took the first binomial, put it on the left, put the second binomial on the top, making sure to bring the negative sign with the 2, and now I can go ahead and multiply these. So I have x times x, which is going to be x squared. I have x times -2, which is going to be -2x. I have 2 times x, which is going to be 2x, and 2 times -2, which is -4. Looking for like terms, I can see I have like terms right here. And I also see that I have a -2 and a +2. Those are going to cancel out. So now I'm left with bringing down my x squared and my -4. So now I'm going to take this answer and substitute it for both of these binomials. And so that's going to look like this. So I have my 5 and my bracket come down. My x squared minus 4 takes the place of these guys, and my -4x minus 3 stays pretty much right where it was. Now I'm looking to combine like terms inside parentheses. So I have an x squared but nothing else like it, but I do have a 3 and a 4 that have no variables attached, so they can be combined. And since they're both negative, they're going to work out to be -7. So I'm going to bring down the -7, get rid of the -4 and the -3, but everything else still comes down. So inside my brackets, I have x squared minus 7 minus 4x. And now I'm going to apply this 5 to everything that's in here. So 5 times x squared is 5x squared. I'm going to jump to 5 times -4x because that by degree would be the next one if I want to put this in descending order. So 5 times -4 gives me -20x, and then 5 times 7, -7, is -35. Please use the work that was done for you tonight to help you to solve any additional problems that are on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.